Welcome to the Faroese News Report.
Glad to be here.
Our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're summarizing the key stories and opinions from the source material shared by our listeners this week.
Right, basically cutting through the noise to get to the core information.
Exactly. We'll cover the news first, just the facts, and then dive into the opinion pieces. So headline-wise on the news front we have.
Negative interest rates possibly returning in Europe.
Then, Recommendation 13 of the Cancer Plan finally being implemented.
And also, questions being asked about stopping drug smuggling.
Then, switching over to opinions and editorials, we've got
Løgting, that's about a potential government shakeup.
Numatrigdintakaste Alvara taking security seriously, focusing on cables.
Then Ruduleki, Oglikasela, Valda, Ilanstrinum claims of chaos and apathy in government.
Also, Lumumba Amin Ogalisavang looking at propaganda.
And finally, an implied headline about disdain towards locals and nature regarding a tunnel project.
Okay, let's get into the news segments then. Hashtag new W segments. So, first up, this talk about negative interest rates possibly making a comeback in Europe. What's driving this?
Well, it starts in Switzerland, actually. Their inflation in October, year over year, was really low, just 0.1%.
Lower than expected.
Yeah, lower than the Swiss National Bank, the SNB, had forecast. And, the SNB has already lowered its main interest rate 6 times since 2023.
6 times, wow.
So if they cut it just one more time, that rate hits 0.
Okay, Switzerland pushing towards 0. How does that connect to Denmark or the Faroes using the Danish krone?
Right, that's the key question. Euro investor points out it's not automatic. These low Swiss rates don't just translate directly to Denmark.
Because of the euro peg.
Exactly. The Danish krone is pegged to the euro. So according to one commentator in the sources, the Danish National Bank might actually find itself in a position where it has to raise its rate.
Raise it. Even with Switzerland going towards 0.
Potentially, yes. To defend that fixed exchange rate agreement with the euro, it's about maintaining the peg, not necessarily about Denmark's domestic economy at that point.
So, external obligations forcing their hand. Got it. Okay, let's shift gears to public health. The HPV vaccine policy and Recommendation 13 of the Cancer Plan. What's the latest?
Right. This involves Annika Olsen from Tjóðveldi asking questions to the health minister, Susanna Bertelsen.
And the background here is that inequality issue, right?
Precisely. Historically, girls got the vaccine free up to age 27, but boys only until 18, and after that they had to pay 3,000 kroner.
So they tried to fix the inequality.
Yes, but instead of raising the age for boys to 27, they actually lowered the free limit for girls down to 18.
Which created parity, but reduced overall free access for young adults.
Exactly, which led to low uptake. So Olsen asked, basically, is the minister going to raise the free limit back to 27 for everyone? And what's being done to, inform people and increase uptake?
And the minister's response?
Well, because of the low uptake, there's a plan for a pilot scheme first. It's for those born in 2006 and 2007, so 19, 20-year-olds.
Okay.
They'll get a window, October 1st to December 31st, 2026, to get the vaccine free. The minister also seemed open to potentially raising the age limit further down the line.
And Recommendation 13, about informing the public.
That's moving forward, too. The minister confirmed they're working on using the public portal, Venganum, to notify and remind parents about vaccinating kids before they turn 18.
Which seems crucial given the latest research.
Absolutely. New Danish research shows an 86% drop in cervical cancer cases for women under 20 who got the HPV vaccine before 17 compared to those unvaccinated.
Yeah.
The benefits are really clear.
Okay, our last news item is about security concerns, specifically drug smuggling on leisure boats.
Yeah, this was brought up by the People's Party. They noted that just in Vagar Harbor alone, 59 sailboats visited this year, up to September.
And that number raised concerns.
It did, especially after that big recent case involving the sailboat Rocky.
The one from Kolding, used for smuggling hashish.
That's the one. Smuggled 23 kilos. So that context really amplified the concern about leisure boats being used for this.
So what action was taken?
Elspeth Mercedes Gunnlaugsdóttir submitted a very detailed set of questions to the finance minister, Ruth Vang. She's asking for hard data.
Like what specifically?
Things like the total number of leisure boats in all Faroese harbors this year. How many of those were actually boarded and searched by customs for drugs upon arrival?
Okay, getting specific.
Very. She wants a breakdown of arrivals and searches for Tórshavn, Klaksvík, and Vágur specifically. Also, if any boats visited more than once, and where, and how often.
It sounds like she's probing customs capacity.
Definitely. The questions also ask about the number of customs officers stationed in Tórshavn, Klaksvík, and Suðuroy, and about narcotics dogs. How many are there? Is that enough? Where are they stationed, and where have they actually been used this year?
Right. Trying to get a real picture of the resources versus the potential threat. Hashtag opinion and editorial segments. Okay, now we move into the opinion and editorial segments. First up, Shinklardi Tinganese, which translates roughly to a shakeup in government circles.
Right, Tinganese being the seat of government. This editorial talks about high tension before a meeting between the Reform Committee led by Ben Arabo and the cabinet.
And this is about saving money in the public sector.
Exactly. And there are unconfirmed reports. Apparently, the committee's first big recommendation might be to cut the number of ministers, the avalra.
Cut them. By how many?
The reports suggest going from the current 9 down to 6. Some commentators even think maybe 5, which obviously means cutting the ministers too.
And that's where the politics get tricky, isn't it?
That's the core point the author makes. If you eliminate, say, 3 or 4 ministers, they don't just disappear. They go back to their seats in parliament.
Which could change the voting math significantly.
Potentially, yes. Especially on issues where the government majority is already thin, or where votes cross party lines. The author uses the abortion law amendment as an example.
So cutting ministries isn't just about saving money. It could fundamentally shift the government's ability to pass its agenda.
That's the argument being made, yes. It's a move with potentially huge political fallout.
Okay, from internal government structure to, well, fundamental national security. This next piece is a reader's letter from Anna Falkenberg, who's an MP in the Danish parliament.
Yes, and she's really critical of the Faroese government's approach to security, specifically focusing on Minister Siri Stenberg and the new submarine communications cable plan between Denmark and Greenland.
What's the criticism?
Falkenberg claims the government acted like this cable project was, a complete surprise.
Even though the need for a third cable for the Faroes was identified earlier.
Right, back in early 2023. The author stresses how vulnerable the Faroes are right now with only 2 cables. One was damaged recently.
Leaving just one connection.
Leaving just one operational cable, which is a massive risk for everything, finance, communications, everything. So Falkenberg argues a third, secure cable is urgent.
And she contrasts the Faroes' approach with Greenland's.
She does. She claims the Faroes government showed up to defense negotiations basically empty-handed and even questioned negotiating security with Denmark at all.
While Greenland,
she says, has been actively involved from the start in strengthening its own preparedness, things like harbors and airports for security reasons. The implication is that the Faroes has been passive while Greenland has been proactive.
Next, we have another reader's letter, this one from MP Johan Dahl, titled Chaos and Apathy Reign in the Government. Strong words.
Very strong. And remember, we're just reporting the author's claims here, not endorsing them. Dahl argues this chaos and apathy defines the current cabinet and gives 4 specific examples to back it up.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, he accuses the Minister of Fisheries of downplaying the potential hit to national income from falling fish quotas, specifically mackerel and blue whiting.
And the consequence of that.
Dahl claims this will lead to a bigger budget deficit, a larger haul than the government is admitting. So sort of masking a financial problem.
Okay, number 2.
Second example is the recent drug smuggling case on the Smeril ferry. Dahl states it resulted in 0 consequences, suggesting a lack of accountability.
Right. What's the third point?
This one involves the Minister of Health again, but related to the budget, the fig jar Logan. Dahl quotes the minister describing the budget as just a proposal.
Even though it included cuts.
Yes, cuts that would lead to hospital staff being dismissed. Dahl claims the minister then basically passed the buck, deferring responsibility for dealing with the fallout to the Finance Committee.
An accusation of avoiding responsibility for tough decisions. And the fourth point.
The fourth involves the Minister of Education. Apparently, there is a plan to cut 2 courses at the Glossy College. After opposition, the plan was reversed.
Oh.
And now, Dahl says the minister claims he'll actually strengthen those same courses. Dahl sees this U-turn as proof of policymaking without proper groundwork or direction.
And his conclusion.
He concludes that this is politics without foundation, that the leaders aren't up to the job, and, well, that they should resign.
Moving to a local environmental and infrastructure conflict. This letter is from Johan Mortensen protesting a tunnel route proposal.
Yes, dated November 5th, 2025. The author is protesting the resubmitted plan for a tunnel route starting from Djupadal and going via Sandsbygd.
And the issue is the impact.
Very much so. The plan includes a two-lane road near Sandsvatn Lake, cutting through important agricultural fields called Sandaflettenum, and passing extremely close to wetlands known as Millimvatna,
How close?
just 35 meters from Storevat Lake, according to the author. He points out this directly contradicts the official land use policy for 2025-2035, which calls for protecting good farmland.
Has there been local opposition before?
Oh, yes. The author notes about 1,000 people protested the first proposal last spring, and 2 public meetings rejected the plan. The core claim is that the government is just ignoring the strong local opposition.
There are also questions about how alternatives were assessed.
Right. An alternative route, via Mullen, which had support from an interest group, was apparently only studied superficially.
And who did this study?
This is a key point of suspicion for the author. The study was done by the tunnel company itself, which, leads the author to question if the outcome was basically predetermined to favor their original plan.
And the environmental advice.
The author says many responses from nature and environmental agencies advised against the plan because of the impact on nature, especially the large bird population near those wetlands.
So the author's fear is?
That if Parliament approves this Jupiter location anyway, the required environmental impact assessment will just be a rubber stamp, essentially meaningless.
Okay, our final piece takes us into international affairs, propaganda, and social media. A letter by Sharuar Skala.
Yeah, Scala's argument is quite analytical. He argues that in the conflict involving Israel, those who lost the military war have effectively won the propaganda war.
How? Through what means?
Through manipulating social media algorithms, according to the author. He claims this has helped create a worldview where the West, and Israel in particular, are framed as the source of basically all global problems.
Does he give an example?
He does. He points to a specific video by Lumumba Amin, son of Idi Amin. This video blames Western democracies and Israel for conflicts far and wide, Sudan, Nigeria, Yemen. Scale explicitly labels this pure classic anti-Semitism.
And how does this connect to the Faroe Islands?
The author states this specific video was shared locally by Elisa Vang, who is the spokesperson for the Faroes group Solidarity with Palestine. Scale sees this as directly importing and spreading this type of anti-Zionist propaganda within the Faroes.
And does he believe this rhetoric is taking hold locally?
He confirms that, yes, anti-Zionist rhetoric is present in the Faroes. He gives examples he's seen, like comparing the Israeli flag to Nazi symbols, justifications for the October 7th attacks, and calls for de-Israelization.
So a worrying trend, according to the author.
Yes, but he does add a final observation. He notes that while things can get heated, he still considers the Faroe Islands a good exception compared to the situation in some other European countries.
A caution remains.
A strong caution not to ignore or silence the issue, urging for it to be addressed openly.
It's certainly a complex picture this week. External financial pressures, serious security vulnerabilities, internal political battles over structure and budgets, local environmental fights, and even global propaganda wars echoing locally.
Yeah, it really paints a picture of the immense challenges facing governance in a small, somewhat isolated nation in today's interconnected world. The underlying question in many of these pieces seems to be whether the current systems and leadership are fully equipped for these complex pressures.
Food for thought, definitely. Like and subscribe to PAL's Fundamentals for more content like this. Sources linked below.